I will go ahead and officially thank all of you for being here today. For those who don't know me, I think I know most of you on the call, but there actually are a few that I don't recognize your names. So my name is Amanda Johnson, and I am the founder and Chief Inspirational Officer of Awaken Village Press. And so we are co-hosting this incredible event today with Christina Luna. She is a near and dear friend and mentor. Forthcoming author. We play in a lot of different spaces together, and so it's always an honor to get to co-create with her and collaborate with her. And this is just one of many ways we get to do that. And so really, I will let her speak to what this is all about today. But I just wanted to give her a big thank you for continuously showing up, sharing her gifts, her insight, her wisdom, and to keep co-creating and collaborating with us in this way. I also wanted to just say something. Actually, a mentor of mine this morning said this, and I thought, wow, I just loved what he shared with me, and I'm going to say it now because I thought it was very impactful. I want to, of course, thank all of you for showing up here today, taking the time. We live very busy lives these days, and we have our attention being pulled in many different directions. And for you to choose yourself or something that you are interested in or moving a project forward and taking the time to do that today in this container is really amazing. And I wanted to say that every single person who is meant to be here, who is meant to be a part of this conversation and to co-create what is about to unfold is here. And anybody who isn't meant to be here isn't. And it's just that simple. And so thank you so much for being a part of those who are meant to be here with us today. I'm just going to highlight a couple of things. If you do have questions, or if you want to respond or talk, about things that are showing up for you or coming to you as Christina is speaking, you are welcome to use the chat. Either I will be monitoring it. We also have a couple other of our Awaken Village Press team members on the call. We have Elizabeth, and she's here with us today. And we also have Seven, or Carrie. She has both names on her profile pic down there. So any one of us could also be responding to you. And then, of course, just to give you a quick high level, what this day is going to look like, we're going to try to keep this to about an hour. So I'm going to hand this over to Christina here in just a moment. She's going to blow our minds and open our hearts really wide, and no pressure. It just is always what happens. So, and then at the end, this is also a big day. Not only is it the full moon, and not only do we get to sit here in Christina's presence, we're as Awaken Village Press, we're announcing some fun upcoming opportunities. And so we would love to share some of those with you, including some special bonuses and gifts for being on this call today and being with us in this space. So we'll keep that to just a few minutes at the end. And then for those who feel like maybe you can stay on a little extra, should we need a little extra time, we will open it up for Q&A. So if there are some questions that don't get answered during the session, or you'd like to clarify something, and it can be anything about anything Christina shared or anything that we talk about at the end, we'll leave that time at the for those who want to stay on. But of course, if you need to leave, you're welcome to bow out then, and you can always watch the recording if you wanted to hear what else we talked about while you were gone. So we'll leave it at that. Christina, thank you so much again. And I'm going to mute myself. And if everyone else, thank you for being muted. That way we will hear Christina loud and clear. I'll hand it over to you, love.
Okay. Yay. Very, very, very grateful to be in the space with all of you. I wanted to share with you that I sat quietly and really got in touch with why we are even talking about anything today. And I also said a little prayer. So the why that came through was, as humans, there are so many fields of awareness that we can tune into. There are so many different types of informational bubbles that we can buy into. And I feel like it's more important than ever to understand how much power we have when it comes to the different fields that we give our energy to, the fields that we invest in. And so my prayer for all of you, for everyone that gets a chance to listen to the recording or who's with us now, my prayer is that the information that I'm sharing with you today helps to tune you to the field and frequency that will align you with your greatest congruence, with your sovereignty as a soul human. That is my prayer. My prayer is that whatever words come out of my mouth, no matter how much I prepared, no matter what my no matter what my notes say, that whatever I'm about to share with you aligns you to your greatest sovereignty and congruence, and that that frequency aligns you to the fields of consciousness in the world that nourish you, that support you, that give you this sensation of understanding what it actually means to be a human in this life at this time. So that's my prayer. I am still admitting people into this container. I don't know if that like prayer is what drew more people in, but there's a lot of people showing up. So I just wanted to welcome all of you that are arriving. I just shared a potent prayer for all of us, and this is being recorded. You will all receive the recording again after. I do want to ask you, if you do have paper and pencil, have it kind of handy. What I've learned is the best way to access astrology is maybe not by me, maybe not by me like telling you all about the astrological transits. There are lots and lots of astrologers that are giving those transits right now, and the internet's full of it. What I've learned is instead, the best way you can learn is by studying your own life and studying your own experiences and your own stories. So I would love to do a little time traveling with you. The first, all of this applies, so please trust me on this journey, and know that this transmission came through very loud and clear. The first time period I would love to bring your attention to is the space between April of 2003 and December of 2004. So essentially the last half of 2003 and the whole of 2004. I know this was a long time ago, but I'm going to give you a couple of trigger energies to help you remember what could have been happening during that year for you. So there would have been a sensation of some sort of increase or shift when it comes to your financials or your resources. Maybe you started a new job. Maybe you got married. Maybe you moved. Like there was something that happened that totally changed the climate of your resources, whether that had to do with an increase in someone else's resources in your life or in resources that you generated yourself. So maybe jot that year down and reflect on it. And another hint I'm going to give you is that before that year, you would have experienced some kind of hustle. So there would have been a sensation of like, I know things are about to change. I've got to do my hustle. I've got to plan this thing. I've got to prepare for this shift. I've got to orient myself. I've got to move. I've got to educate myself. So before this big shift in 2000, at the end of 2003, 2004, there would have been this sensation of shifting. Now I want you to fast forward from that time. I'm going to have you time travel to 2013. The time period specifically is actually August 2012 to February of 2014. So we've got the whole of 2013. Now, the trigger sensation I want you to focus on is that whatever kind of came into your life in the 2004 year, you would have experienced some sort of reversal of that, like a flip. Okay. So that flip would have been, if you got married in 2004, maybe you got divorced in 2013. If you moved somewhere for a job in 2004, maybe you lost that job in 2013, 14. There would have been a total shift, and it would have had to do with maybe it was a decrease in some area of your life, but an increase in a different area that felt more sobering, that felt very serious, that felt very like it went from either external to personal. And so now I want you to remember what was happening the year before 2013. So leading up, so 2012, again, maybe there was some sort of hustle. Maybe you were educating yourself. Maybe there was some change. There was mutable energy. There was some sort of shifting, changing energy in 2012. And that would have led to some sort of big shift, right? So now I want to bring you into this current moment. Essentially, since June of 2020, there would have been this hustle energy, this shifting energy, this changey energy. There would have been like your wires would have been reoriented. And we're about to move into an increase in or a shift in our resources, similarly to what we experienced in 2004. Now, in 2004, your values were very different. So the way that you increased your resources or changed your resources would have had to do with whatever you were valuing in that moment. So if you were valuing marriage, for instance, or whatever, you would have attracted a partner and that would have shifted your resources. If you were valuing sovereignty, like self-sustainability, maybe this was that you got a job of your own doing and you started making your own money. Like maybe you moved out of your parents' house and you like became self-sustainable. So this, whatever happened in the last 18 months, I want you to know that your values changed dramatically. Your concept of what you want to invest your time, energy, focus, and attention into, that has what's been shifting. Maybe you educated yourself more. Maybe you aligned to some greater purpose in the world. I would venture to guess, based on all of the astrology, that you got in touch with something that is highly soul driven. Maybe in 2004, you aligned with something that was, I want to say it was maybe ruled, it was maybe ruled by a concept that connected you to an old paradigm of patriarchy. And I'm only saying that because we were living during that time, during the final the final exclamation of the patriarchy manifestation. And so this was before the big bubble burst of 2008. That was when Pluto moved into Capricorn. This was before all of those values shifted, while Pluto's been going through Capricorn this whole time. So we've gone through a massive transformation on what we put our investments into and how we resource ourselves. So the way that we are approaching this new increase, as today especially, so today is the very first glimmer. Today is the very first glimmer of understanding what we truly value. And I'm saying that because the moon was full in Taurus. And I could go into all the very specific astrologies, but I wanted to create this as a prayer for people who don't even know anything about astrology. That's why I'm connecting you with your own story right now, because you don't have to understand astrology to be living within these cycles, regardless of whether you're conscious of it or not. So that's just, so I'm not like, if you want to get into deeper into the astrology nitty gritty, I make videos that go into that, but this is not what this is. We have like 50 minutes, right? So now I want to kind of time travel a little bit within this year so I can get kind of more narrow and focused on what this last month of the year, the last month that we're going to experience, how it's setting us up for 2022 and what will happen beyond that point. So let's rewind all the way to January of 2021. Now, in January, you planted a seed. On the Capricorn new moon, you planted a seed. And you were dreaming something. You wanted to manifest something in the material world. You wanted to feel tangible. You wanted it to be real. And you probably had a vision that was aligned to something that would serve humanity, some like really high level soul urge. And it doesn't mean that this had to be big. It doesn't mean this had to be like, I touch a million lives, blah, blah, blah. Some of our dreams are very, very personal. Some of them have to do with our loved ones, our bodies. Some of them have to do with just simply feeling alive. So please don't measure yourself based on anything. Don't measure yourself. All I'm asking you to do is to reflect. That's all I'm asking. And whatever your reflection brings to you is the most accurate study of yourself. So that's how this works. So in January, there was a little seed. I really want to experience this thing. Now, in July, during Cancer season, there was a manifestation of that seed. There was a full moon in Capricorn during Cancer season, and this full moon occurred while Venus and Mars were very close together. Now, this would have been, for most of us, this was also happening during a really incredible alignment that would have felt pretty intense. So the summer, it maybe didn't feel intense to you, but it felt really intense to me. Basically, during the summer, we got a manifestation of whatever that seed was. We got an example of it. And we were able to look at it and say, is this what I really wanted? Is this what I ordered? Oh my goodness, I'm not really sure that's exactly how I wanted it to be. That's very interesting. I'm a very powerful creator, and I sometimes create things that I'm not even conscious I'm creating. And so there was a moment this summer where your head and heart came together and you were able to see and recognize and take responsibility for the fact that you create some of your reality, the fact that you actually draw toward you what you desire, even if you're not fully conscious of what that desire means for you. And 2020, the whole of 2020 brought you into your creator abilities. The whole of 2020 put us into the driver's seat of recognizing that there's a correspondence between our vibration and what we experience out in the world. If we vibrate with fear, we will be met with fear. If we vibrate with receptivity and openness, we will be met with receptivity and openness. That's why the seed that we planted in January was so important. It was a practice seed. The practice seed manifested in July, and we got to really look at it and investigate it and take responsibility for it. It was a medicine moment for sure. And we basically spent the last half of the year up to now cleaning that up or shifting ourselves or taking responsibility or like picking up the pieces, whatever we needed to do the housekeeping so that we would actually align ourselves with what we truly do desire to experience. Now, I'm getting to Venus, but I want to talk a little bit about masculine and feminine energy, and I want to completely unhinge it from men and women. When I talk about masculine and feminine or Venus and Mars, what I'm actually talking about is our ability to take things in, to receive things, to let things sink into ourselves, and then our ability to put things out, to behave, to create, to actually execute. And for a very long time, we have had the masculine energy as the leader. And I'm not saying men have been in leadership. I'm saying that for a very long time, the concept of something that a thought can also be considered something that we put out or we generate, okay? A thought is a byproduct of something that we feel. So even thoughts are considered masculine energy, even concepts, even ideas. These are considered masculine energies because they're something that we create in a response to something that we took in. So are we starting to get the feel of that? So there's a sensation we take in, there's a scene we take in, there's an emotion we let sink into ourselves. Then from there, we create an idea, we create a thought form, we create a concept, and that goes out into the world. So we have the capacity to let our thoughts lead us. That would be like, I have a goal to make X amount of money by this time. Okay, that's a concept. And then that goal can help us lead our behaviors so that we align with all of the behaviors that will generate that goal. So with this concept, the idea comes first, and then we ask the body to do the labor that is necessary to achieve the concept. That's a very straightforward, rational, logical way of leading your life. So what happened in the middle of the year is actually there was a change of the guards. There was a polarity shift. And what changed was the feminine principle began to be the leader. And that feels a little disorienting for us because we have very comfortably been leading by our concepts for a very long time. Like it takes a concept to decide to build a house. We decide, we create the blueprints, we create the plans, we execute the plans, and then we receive the house. So receiving happens after execution, right? So what's shifted and what changed is that we began to realize that whatever we are feeling in our bodies, that is actually what's creating. And this is a little bit strange because we would have first experienced that what we think is not being created anymore. What we feel is being created. So we can't think our creations into being anymore. That could have felt frustrating. That could have been confusing. That could have created some disorientation. Now, what we know is that we are aligning more and more and more to the sensation of what we feel and the sensation of what we desire to receive. For a long time, this I don't need to go into a history lesson, but humans have had a hard time validating their desires. They've just had a hard time with it. There's a whole bunch of reasons. Maybe you didn't, but essentially desires were something that we demonized and we wanted to eliminate. We wanted to free ourselves from our desires because desires were considered the root of all suffering. And so we wanted to allow ourselves to completely be detached and to not create that magnetism that desire actually creates. So coming into our desires and validating our desires can actually feel kind of tricky. We've actually conditioned ourselves to have personalities that can sometimes put other people's desires first, or the desires of the group, or the desires for harmony over our desires for what we actually want. So there's been a shift in our awareness of where's the difference there between my desires and the desires that I'm conceptually prioritizing over my own. So now we get to the Venus retrograde that's occurring in December. I can give you some specific dates and how that's related to the dates that I shared with you in the very beginning. This shift into increasing our resources based on what we are investing into now and what our values are now. If you have been aligning your values to allowing your body and your sensations and your desires to lead, and that your thoughts and your concepts and your actions serve that. If you've been doing that naturally in your life, then the flow through this Venus retrograde will probably feel very, very graceful. It'll be like an opening and a receiving more and more and more to what the body truly desires to experience. And this is you may be so surprised. So some tangible ways that this could show up is maybe conceptually. Okay. Super mundane example. Let's say that you used to put your money toward buying makeup, like under eye concealer, things that would make your face look brighter because you desired to look like a healthy person. That's truly what makeup helps us to do. It helps us to look like a healthier version of ourselves. And maybe we were doing that because we were like, oh man, I'm just so tired. Like, I really just want to look like I'm more awake. So we put our resources into purchasing these products that would help us to look more awake. That is letting our resources follow a concept. The concept is, if I buy this thing, I'll conceptually look better. There is a desire there, but the desire is not driving, it's not driving the behavior. The true desire of the body is to be healthy. The true desire of the body is to feel well rested. The true desire is to glow. Okay. When the masculine force is the leader, the masculine's like, well, that's a problem I can solve. Let's buy some makeup, right? So that's masculine leadership. It's a good idea. It works to a certain degree, but it doesn't actually fulfill the true desire. So when we get in touch with the body's true desire, it is, I really just want to sleep more. And I really just want to have more time to rest, because that is what actually helps me to feel more glowing. So all of a sudden you see that the $100 you would have put toward all these cosmetics could actually go to getting a massage, and could actually go to buying some like really comfortable sheets. So we take that money that we would have bought beauty products with, and we put the money into something that gives us what we actually desire in a sustainable way. And that is the difference between masculine and feminine leadership. There's no demonization of this. It's just a matter of polarity. It's just a matter of which goes first. And my suggestion is that I'm attuning all of your fields to the frequency of congruence with what your body desires and your body's leadership. So this is what's on the table in December, and we have a holiday season. So there may be a battle between the old way you did the holidays and the new way you're doing the holidays. And I want you to know that the Taurus season, I could go into specifics. I'm just going to say North Node's moving into Taurus. That's the astrology, okay? North Node's moving into Taurus. North Node was in Taurus in 2004, and then South Node was in Taurus in 2013. Wherever we have a North Node, that's where something is increasing. That's where our consciousness is increasing. We are moving into a time where we come into the earth element of feeling completely secure and grounded within our body, feeling resourced in our body, and experiencing a sense of peace on a very earthly level. There would have been a decrease of that in 2013 that would have meant an increase in a different space, and an increase in having faith in like the universe, or having to release your security in your financial resources so that you can have a security in something else that is not based on earthly possessions or something like that. So what we're moving into is an increase again in the tangible, but this time that tangible might have something to do with a trust that you have in your own sovereignty, a trust that you have in your own self-worth, a trust that you have in your own ability to feel complete and whole and sovereign, and to trust the feminine leadership of your body to guide your life. I'm just going to take a little pause because it's 10:32 and I want to get my bearings on how much time I have left for this transmission. So I'm not reading the chats, but at the very end, we can kind of go through it. In the next 20 minutes, I would like to discuss how what we're doing in December is going to shape the way that we approach the rest of our lives. I'm not trying to put a bunch of pressure on it. We always have a time to readjust. It's just, have you ever noticed that when you do things every day incrementally, things in every day in every way, they just keep getting better and better and better, or the changes kind of happen very slowly, but they happen. And over a period of time, you could measure, if you have a measuring stick, it's just not super abrupt. And you don't get that like super satisfying sensation of like, oh, I lost 10 pounds in a week, or, oh my gosh, like I just gained 50 grand. Like we don't get the huge jumps. And some of us, our souls really crave those big jumps. And so the day to day changes feel a little less exciting. It looks like drinking a lot of water. It looks like rebounding. It looks like subtly like getting more sleep every night. And over time that you like just look glowy. You don't get to put the concealer on and immediately you look glowy. You get it naturally, but it's sustainable. So now you can choose to do that, or you could choose as a soul to not do that, to do the other thing. And the other thing just means you'll have a lot more instability and excitement in big bursts. So let's say you want to lose 10 pounds. You could get super sick and not be able to eat a lot for a couple of weeks, and bam, you lost 10 pounds. Congratulations, you did it, right? You could there's lots of different ways that the universe adjusts things very quickly. Like you could get to the point where your bank account is almost empty, and then you ask someone to help you out and you get a ton of resources all at once, like boom. Like that's a really vast increase, and that feels exciting, and we could choose that path, no problem. It just depends on how much excitement you'd like to experience. There's no judgment. I'm just sharing with you that there is a way to kind of do this in a very grounded, earthly way. And Taurus would love for us to do that. Taurus would love for us to have the stable, grounded, we're just exiting mutable nodes. Okay. This was like a Gemini Sagittarius nodal eclipse axis point. It's very changey. It's passionate. It's intellectual. It's mind. It's like one day I think I want this. The next day I want this. And my mind just keeps changing. I don't really know. I'm just trying to align myself to my best frequency, right? That is how Gemini Sagittarius energy feels. And so the last 18 months has felt kind of like, yeah. Now we're going to move into a space that's like, all right, I've chosen. I'm aligned with what I believe. I know what my story is. And I planted a seed in January that I got to really look at in July. Well, I also want to tell you that in July, you planted a seed. In July, you planted a new moon in Cancer seed. And this would have been really emotional. This would have been the result of seeing what you've manifested up to this point, and whether or not you liked it or not, whether or not it met your needs, whether or not it was everything you'd hoped for and more. And I'm willing to bet that it might not have been exactly the way you thought it should be. Because when you planted the seed in January, you were still planting from certain patriarchal ideas. Mars was still in charge, and you still had these concepts that you were building your life around. So you built the concept, and it was on paper, it might have checked some boxes, but it just didn't feel right. And so the seed you planted in July and the new moon in Cancer, you wanted a feeling. You wanted it to be real. You wanted it to be nourishing. You wanted it to be sustainable. You wanted it to feel right. And nobody can tell you what feels right except for you. And no concept. Like basically what would have unhinged is making the circumstances so specific that your only avenue for success is if those specific circumstances manifest. When you let your feelings be your guide, it doesn't matter what those freaking circumstances are. We have no idea. Well, we think we do. We think we know what's going to give us the feeling we want to feel. We're really good at thinking. We like, if I have $1 million in my bank account, I'm going to feel good, right? We think that. But the truth is, that's still the concept leading the behavior, or leading your life's manifestations. In July, we either felt like we were being held in all of our vulnerability and human experience, or we felt like we were not. And the seed that was planted was a prayer to be held in our most vulnerable human experience, in a way to have our life held, to feel held by our life in a way that makes us feel safe, in a way that makes us feel whole and complete and loved. And I said safe already, but like, so what circumstances will now manifest to actually give you that sensation? It may be very, very different from what you would have conceptualized a year ago. So we're getting ready to get a full moon in Capricorn. That will be happening during Venus's retrograde. So that will be the result of the Cancer seed you planted in July. Okay, we're going to still have a full moon in Sagittarius before that. We're going to still have, there's still some time, but I'm just letting you know that we're going to get a chance to, or not the full moon, I'm sorry, it'll be a full moon in Cancer. Please forgive me. The full moon is the reflection of the seed. The new moon is the seed itself. So we will see the reflection of the full moon in Cancer during the time of Capricorn, and Venus will be retrograde during that time. So that will be All right. And hey, listen, we've got to go through December before we get there. So know that there could be some last minute adjustments. There could be some surprising alignments that feel exciting because of how unstable they feel. Okay. There could be some instability. And I'm going to bring us back to the very first prayer that I shared with you. There are many, many, many fields of perception that we can pay attention to. There's the field that's looking at containers full of products. There's the field of vaccinations. There's the field of, there's so many fields that we can pay attention to. And those are legitimate fields. But I also want to share with you that there's a field that feels congruent to your truth. And it might not have anything to do with those things. And honestly, so many things could be happening in the planet that are destabilizing to give everyone some sort of exciting experience of realignment. It's not going to, excitement doesn't always feel good to people. Excitement can feel like anxiety and uncertainty. People cope with uncertainty in lots and lots of different ways. But I want to share with you that our souls crave a certain level of excitement or instability. And to the degree that you crave that is the extent that you experience it. And if you can adjust your mind to perceive that excitement as a good thing, as a realignment, as an adjustment, it'll help you to cope with any large changes you experience moving forward. And you can also do this really consciously and incremental, which is less exciting, but will get you there nonetheless. And that's not going to feel like big changes. It's not, you're going to be like, wow, she's talking about this Venus retrograde. And to me, it was just like, I just eat good food and hang out with my family. This has been great. I don't even know, what are people talking about? Like that could be your experience because every day you've been aligning with the things that you truly, truly value, and you've been investing in those things. And it's not that crazy exciting, but it's fulfilling. So we have about 10 more minutes. We'll see the reflection of that seed we planted in Cancer while we're in Capricorn season. Then we'll be able to plant a new seed in Capricorn. This will manifest mid-year. So know that we're being prepared for that manifesting seed. And I'm going to give you some dates, okay? Venus will be retrograde between December 19th and January 29th. Essentially what she's doing, she's moving close to Pluto now. Sorry, I turned off notifications, but they still come in. She's moving close to Pluto now. Pluto is a sentinel. Pluto is a guardian. Pluto is a line. And Pluto is not going to let bullshit pass. It kills anything that's aligned with bullshit. It's the like most real sentinel. We should be so grateful for Pluto in our lives because Pluto is like nothing, this shall not pass. So when Venus gets up to Pluto, any little bits of bullshit left, any resistance to feeling yourself that's left, that will just be sort of stripped. And that's going to happen right before the 19th. It'll be happening right before Christmas. So yay. Then once Venus comes up to Pluto and kisses Pluto and loves him, she will retrograde back and she'll let all the other planets pass her by. And she's waiting for Mars. Mars is back there. They met up, they kissed back in July, and Mars is like, I've got a lot of work to do. Let me take a cue from you, Venus. I want to see what you desire. I want to serve you. Let my mind serve my heart. Let me reorient this. Let me use this as a practice period. So Mars has been chugging along and he's like, all right, Venus, I'm coming. When Venus and Mars, so Venus will wait all the way till the 29th of January. She's the last person. She's just hanging out at 11 degrees Capricorn in her integrity, full body manifesting integrity at 29 or on the 29th of January at 11 degrees. 11 is an integrity number. What will happen is Mars will catch up with her. They'll communicate. And then mid-February, they will conjoin. Head and heart will come together and they will walk together at the same degree past the gates of Pluto again. They're going to have some time to harmonize, but they will walk past Pluto and Pluto will look at both of them. Head, heart, are you guys aligned? Do you feel congruence? Are you serving each other? Are you valuing both of you? There's no demonization here. We're not demonizing the mind. We're not demonizing the body. We know that we work together to create the world, to create our reality, to create our story, to create the way we relate to each other. So they will come together. They will cross the threshold of Capricorn. They will cross the threshold of Pluto, and they will step into Aquarius together in March. Profound. They will stay together in Aquarius through a whole bunch of very interesting alignments. This is setting the foundation for the new paradigm. The new paradigm is not some like out of reach thing. The new paradigm is simply head and heart serving each other with equal value and equal acknowledgement. It is not demonizing one or the other. When we are in a state of patriarchy, we demonize the desires of the body. And when we are in the state of matriarchy, we demonize the desires of the mind. When we are in a state of unity, we let both of these parts of ourselves lead. There's just been an adjustment period. So all of this into context, there are several things that you can invest your time, energy, attention, and focus to as we move forward into the next year. My recommendation is that you deeply, deeply, deeply invest in yourself, invest in your story, invest in your life. Look at your cycles, look at the beliefs that have been guiding you. Look at how you've structured the story of patriarchy in your life to this point, what it means for you to remember who you are now, and what will be created in the new world when both parts of you are aligned. We have been manifesting a story. And while in the last 18 months, we've recognized that that story has changed dramatically. We probably look at all of our past relationships with totally different eyes. We see our parents very differently. Our roles in relationships have dramatically changed. The way that we enter intimacy with others. There's a new paradigm of romantic relationship that hasn't even come all the way into fruition yet, but everyone's been feeling it. Like whether you're partnered or not, everyone's got this claiming to a certain level of autonomy and sovereignty that has never been available on this planet. Well, at least not to our conscious minds at this moment. There could be some of us that remember a time, and those people are remembering more and more and more. And that's why more than ever, sharing what we are experiencing, sharing the things we remember is very, very important, because it empowers ourselves and each other to remember that there's a new story being written right now. That story comes from inside of us. So I have 3 minutes left before I open the floor for Amanda and Elizabeth. And like whatever, there's so many places that you can put your focus and attention moving forward. And I hope that this conversation has helped you to bring that lens from any old traditional concepts. Anything. Like if you used to think that you need to give your kids all the same amount of toys, if you used to think that like you've got to have like a certain flavor of meal for these like events, or any kind of pressure that you would ever put conceptually on yourself for manifesting what this next couple of months could be, even goals you would make for yourself at the new year, those all deserve a revision. Venus will revise it, and she will make it felt. And I hope that you allow that revision to include honoring the desires of your body, the true desires of your body, and that you invest your energy, time, attention, and focus into cultivating that honoring more and more and more. And there are lots and lots of ways that you can do that. The last thing I would like to say with the last 2 minutes I have is I have a very, very deep love for all of you. I have a very, very deep love for humanity. I know that no matter what, we cannot F this up. We are not going to F this up. Like there's not a chance. Okay. um, just know you've never been doing anything wrong, and that all of the experiences you're having are aligned perfectly that have led you to this moment right now. This moment is the only moment that actually exists, and this moment's the moment where all the power is. So anything you choose from this moment forward, please choose to have it aligned to yourself and to your own congruence and to your own truth. And trust that that will lead the most aligned, most congruent future for yourself and every single person that you share this world with. Thank you.
Wow. Oh my God. Um, hmm. So, wow, Christina, literally speechless. I mean, I was sharing a few words. The chat, by the way, was just a lot of like things that were being stirred up as you were speaking. So no questions yet to address, just so you know, but you're welcome to read through those if you would like. Oh my goodness, like this is why this is why I love what I do. I get to co-create and collaborate with people like Christina. So, I mean, one of the things I'm here on a mission for is to do whatever small part I can, we can, to bring messages like Christina's to the world, whether that's on a Zoom call, whether that is on an Instagram live, whether that is in a book, whether that is like whatever. We actually have a very newly published author here with us as well. So Rita, I just want to say thank you for doing your part to bring your message into the world this year. So that's what we're here for. And of course, what you just said, Christina, is like, there's so much goodness in there. And that was what today was about, was for you to feel her wisdom, to feel, as she called you, into deeper alignment, deeper congruence. And so if that's all, like, it is so amazing. And if any one of you here is feeling a call for stepping more deeply into your purpose, into the impact you want to have, and that might look like writing a book one day or sharing your message in some form. That's what we're here for at Awaken Village Press. And it's uncanny. Again, when you were giving me the dates, like Christina, I was like writing the dates down as you were talking about it, and I was like, oh, Venus goes direct on January 29th. That's like the time we were planning to start our next 5-month writing container. And oh, so head and heart are going to be like walking side by side, like as this container is happening. It's like, oh, so while we're together in this space, the new paradigm is being written or being spoken into, being shared. So there's so much I could say, but I'm going to keep this brief, so we can end on time. And if you want to stay for Q&A, we will also have time for that. But I want to say today what we're excited to announce at Awaken Village Press is that we are opening the doors for our next 5-month writing program. And it's called Awaken Your Book, and it will begin at the end of January, right around that Venus going direct and the new moon. So it's just so much potency right there. And today we are saying, come join us if you feel called. We have a few bonuses and gifts that we'd like to let you know about. We do have early bird pricing until the solstice, so until December 21st, to give you some time. If this feels like an aligned fit for you, you can claim your spot at a reduced price, either in full or payment plan. So we do have both options. Also, for those who do want to pay in full, you will get a bonus energetic blueprint reading with Christina. So Christina offers these for our authors to help them align their creative project with their natal chart and with the energies currently happening and unfolding. And so you get to have her wisdom one-on-one directly as a gift if you choose to pay in full at any time. The container is open. Or the doors are open. Finally, for those who are joining this now live or listening to this replay in the few In the next few days, we are offering an added bonus for those who want to say yes immediately by, I believe it's Monday, the 21st. So just in a few days from now, if you're ready to commit, whether it's a payment plan or in full, you will also receive like Bible of information and wisdom and channeled goodness from Christina Luna in the form of a downloadable PDF. And it's going to be a whole year ahead for 2022. So this is going to have I mean, it's amazing what she's able to put together. And if she wants to speak to it a little bit more, if you want to ask a question about it, she could certainly answer it. But it's going to be rich with information for your whole year ahead, just as you're moving through anything that you want to be moving through and experiencing. And then that would be ready for you sometime before Christmas. But you'll claim that when you say yes in the next few days. So that's what I wanted to share with you. I would also love to give Elizabeth an opportunity to say hello. Elizabeth is our facilitator of the group program. She's also one of she's our main editor on staff. She actually worked closely with Rita on her book. She'll be working closely with Christina on her book, and she's worked on many other books for us. So Elizabeth, I'd love to give you the floor just to say hello and share what is on your heart at this time.
Absolutely. So just saying hi, some of you I know, and nice to meet you to those who I haven't met before. We do a 5-month group program, and it's always really fun to see who feels guided and called to come in to these group programs. There's always a theme that emerges in terms of what people are working on and writing about and dealing with in life. And it always feels very meant to be in terms of who shows up. And so for that reason, I can't even say too much yet about, how exactly the 5 months will be structured, because we do figure it out based on the needs of the group. But I just love this approach to the creative process. I have a background in journalism, and I studied literature and like kind of all the credentials for writing and guiding others in writing, and letting go of the credentials and just relying more on intuition has been really a little scary at times and a huge learning experience for me. And it's part of what makes the work with the Awaken Village Press so fun. And yeah, I would just be very excited to talk with any of you. There is a way to set up a call if you're thinking about the program or you think it might be for you. If you got the email about this event, the information will be in the follow-up email if you are interested.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Elizabeth. So yes, we have a page where you can go get all your information and also claim your spot if you're ready to do that now in the next few days or in the coming weeks. But before, so link is here, of course, in the chat. We'll have it in the follow-up email. If you know someone, maybe this isn't for you, but you know a person it's for, feel free to share that with them as well. And so again, the intention of this program is to support those who have a book to write, to get it onto the page. We have a current participant on the call today as well, Hannah. She's completed her first draft, which is a huge milestone of an author. So there is, that the space is there to support you at any stage, whether you haven't written the first word yet, or you're nearing the end and you just want that final layer of accountability, feedback, support. And I'm starting to claim it more publicly, so I'll say it here. I'm going to be working on my second book, and I believe it will be happening in the container of this program. So I very well might actually be one of the participants this go round, which is exciting. And as Christina just said, doesn't always feel comfortable, but there is something that has been wanting to be expressed through me for many, many years now. And I believe now is the time. So with that, I would love to open it up to Q&A. And again, that can be anything for Christina regarding what she has spoken to today. It can be anything for me or Elizabeth if you do have some questions about the container. And again, there is more information available and coming your way. So I will leave it at that. And before we open it officially, Christina, was there anything you would like to say before you start fielding questions?
A little bit about like the writing process. So writing generally, whether you're writing like a journal or you're writing a book, writing is going to definitely catalyze some sort of reflection and awareness. And so I actually wanted to include, so there is this, if you feel called to write a book, please do reach out to Amanda or Elizabeth, because they are the reason I partner with them. The reason I'm doing this with them is because I believe so wholeheartedly in their mission in this world and why they're doing what they're doing. They truly are helping people to write the new paradigm. And so I just wanted to share that. And my own experience with writing has been like deep reflection and upheaval, like total, like turning the soil of my stories inside of me and understanding how all of that became this beautiful medicine that's really like shifting my life even today. If there's a little piece I wanted to share, if you're around the age of 42, this is also, next year is going to be a pivotal year for putting something into the world that will affect it on a very massive level. There's a Uranus opposition that happens. It's like a milestone that happens in people's lives around the age of 42. If you're nearing that milestone, you could also be feeling this in a very potent way. So I know that's not going to be for everybody, but yeah, like Amanda just said, my book will be coming out in the summer, which is actually conjunct with happening at the same time as my Uranus opposition. So another thing that I just wanted to say before we open it to Q&A is I actually teach astrology, and I structure the astrology. If you want to go more into that avenue, I didn't talk a lot about astrology in this conversation because I wanted to make it very accessible. But if you are interested in astrology, the way I teach is you study yourself. You study your own cycles, you study how you feel through the moon cycles, and then you partner that with the intellectual components of what the astrology actually means. So there's 12 lectures, there's daily journal prompts. So again, it's writing, it's reflection on your own life. So every single day, there's an astrologically oriented prompt for you to focus your attention to and to reflect upon. Even if you don't write, having that self-awareness will give you the foundation of understanding astrology and how these cycles have functioned in your life forever and how to consciously flow with them moving forward. So yes, you will get a blueprint. If you sign up for the writer's container, you will get a reading from me that's very personalized. And there's also options to drop into astrology yourself if you'd like to go that route with me. And you can also partner these. They're happening at the same time. So you could actually take the astrology course and then drop into writing your story based on learning about your own cycles. That would be like the most complete and complementary opportunity ever. So I just wanted to share that with all of you in case that's something you want to learn more about. In any case, we are here now to open the floor for questions. And I love this part.
I had one question. Sorry if I was typing away and distracting the sound there, but one question about the North nodes. And I know you didn't go into a lot of detail, but just because you planted that seed that we're moving, the node is going into Taurus, and that's kind of what happened in 2003, 2004. So we kind of have these reference points. When will we be moving out of that Taurus North node? Like, how long are we going to be there?
Sure thing. The North Node will move into Taurus on January 19th of 2022, and it will move out July of 2023. We have about 18 months for each nodal thing. For each
Cool.
nodal period of time, we have about 18 months. And it's not something that happens immediately, but it definitely, you can feel the energy shift. And we'll all just think, oh, it's January. Everything feels different, but like literally things are going to feel different. There's so many other things astrologically happening with that turnover. Jupiter is going to move into Pisces on the 29th of December. So that will feel very different too. There's a lot that's going to change energetically. And this period before that shift is just aligning. It's just aligning for the shift so that when it happens, you're just like, boop, right into it.
I'm curious, to, oh, was someone else speaking? Go
Oh,
ahead.
no, don't worry. I can wait.
You'll be next. I'm curious to hear more about the Uranus return. I put in the chat, I'm 42 right now. Is that like at your 42nd birthday? Is there like a period of time after, or tell us more about that?
Okay, so I don't know exactly what your birthday is, but Uranus was, if you're in it now, Uranus was in Scorpio when you were born. Now, currently, there's a lot of energy happening in Scorpio. The sun is in Scorpio. We're in the last week of Scorpio. Mars is going through Scorpio. So you're definitely feeling your Uranus. It's been probably like rattling like crazy all year because Uranus is Uranus is in the opposite sign of Taurus right now. So Taurus and Scorpio is the axis point that we are actually going to experience the nodal shift through as well. And so if you have Uranus in Scorpio because you're 42 right now, and right now Uranus is moving slowly through Taurus, you're going to feel this like Promethean pull. So the archetype of Prometheus, I could go into an astrology class right now. I'm not going to do that. But the way that I'm going to guide you in this moment is look at your natal chart and see what degree Uranus is at. I think mine is at like 18 degrees. And I was born in September of 79. So if you're born around September of 1979, it's probably around 18 degrees. And right now Uranus is at 12 degrees of Taurus. So it's going to take some time for it to get to 18. It'll be at 18 in the end of July, just to let you know. So wherever your Uranus is, it's going to take some time for Uranus to get to that place. And maybe it's already there. Maybe you're having it. I don't know. But whatever it is, you're going to be hatching this like, oh, I'm going to be the Promethean god in this moment. And I'm going to bring fire to man. I'm going to steal it from the gods. I'm going to receive this tool of wisdom, and I'm going to give it and empower humanity with this tool of fire. They might not know how to use it, and they might make a big ass mess, but I'm going to give it to them anyways because I love humans. That's what Prometheus does. Prometheus loves the humans so much. So he tried to help the humans to evolve their consciousness by giving them fire. So there could be some Promethean project that you want to deliver to humanity that will give them fire. And that's that energy of the Uranus opposition.
Oh, so you actually kind of answered my question, because I was like, because I was going back to the North Node in Taurus, then the South Node would be in Scorpio.
Yeah.
And so that was kind of my question, is like, what does that mean with the South Node in Scorpio?
Okay, that's a really good question. So where the South Node is, there's a dismantling. Where the North Node is, there's an increase or growth or a building. Where the South Node is, there's going to be something that's decreasing or dismantling. Mm-hmm. And so if you go back to 2013, there was an increase of some part of your life. Mm-hmm. It probably had to do with faith. It probably had to do with like depending on other people. The Scorpionic temple is really, really misunderstood by our like common meme society, but you've been taking my class, so you know a lot more about the Scorpionic temple as someone who I've been like with for the last few months in this container with. So what we will see now, if you had to really pull yourself up, like, okay, I'll just give a private I got divorced in the end of 2012, and I had to become very self-reliant in 2013. And I had to have a lot of faith in the universe, a lot of faith in other people, a lot of faith to take leaps without having the ground beneath me. It's like the scene at the end of Indiana Jones where he steps in, where he's like he puts his hands in his heart and he closes his eyes and just takes a step into the freaking crevasse. And there was a like bridge, right? That was for me what Scorpio North Node felt like. Lots of action without knowing how this will impact my life. So what I'm seeing, what could be decreasing, is that now we have the proof. We've got the sand over the bridge, so we can take our steps with a lot of tangible security and faith that the bridge is there. We don't have to rely so heavily on our faith. So it doesn't mean that there'll be a decrease in faith. It just means that there'll be an increase in stability. We may have a decrease in having to rely on other people, in our dependency, in our power struggles with others. So this actually could be amazing, right? Like there's a lot of astrologers talking about this, and it feels like astrologers are stuck on the doom and gloom channel. And that's why I wanted to kind of amplify my field a little bit here by saying, pay attention to whatever field you want, but choose wisely the fields you pay attention to and you invest in. Because if you put yourself into the fields of fear and the fields of doom and gloom and the fields that like, well, something bad's going to happen, the economy is going to collapse. Yeah, maybe if that's what you want to like focus on, maybe in some areas. So there will be a decrease for sure, but a decrease in what, and what will be increasing in its place? The floor is open.
Right.
I feel like there's people just on the edge of their seat wanting to ask or say something. I just want to tell you, this is a safe place. Please feel free. I'm a really safe person to talk to.
When does your next astrology class start?
It starts in January. I was going to start it on the 8th because that's when the moon will be in Aries, but I actually am going to start it on the 2nd because that's when we have a new moon in Capricorn. The new moon in Capricorn, the new seed that we're putting into the entire world is on the 2nd of January, and that's when I'm starting the class. So everyone will kind of get their orientation notes of how to navigate the year ahead, starting on the 2nd. So on the 1st, everyone can just like recover from the night before. On the 2nd, class starts. And there's my website, my Facebook, like I talk about my class on YouTube videos, like, so to access that class, I've got a whole page that talks about payment plans and ways to make it really, really easy to join. So I don't price anybody out. There's ways for every single person who wants to do this to access this information. I'm super flexible. I think astrology is for everybody. No one should ever be priced out of astrology. And I offer so many free resources. I just know that there's some investment here. And I really want to like create an investment that continues to keep people into the container consciously. Anyone else? We're about 11, 12. We're all very accessible. If anyone has any questions privately, I'm available over Messenger on Facebook. You can reach me through my contact page on my website. I'll just type my website in if anyone wants to find me there.
I linked to it earlier as well. Yeah, email, Instagram, message us, message Christina.
So yeah, just thank you so much for attending. And if you're watching this video after the fact, thanks for giving your time, attention, and focus to something that feels so valuable to me. I really appreciate that. And any last words, Amanda?
I'll say thank you again. Thank you for those here and watching. If you, again, reach out to Christina. I feel somebody here on this call needs what she has to offer and is like just waiting for it. And somebody, I believe, watching this also feels like they need what we have to offer. And if that's true and that's a fit, what a blessing. So I'm just looking forward to what comes next. But yes, if you haven't already been on our email list, if you got the Zoom link somehow, another way, I just invite you to join our email list, and you're going to get a lot more information. I mean, that's just how we communicate with our tribe. So we don't spam you too much at all, but we just want to make sure you are aware, including, and I put it in the chat, but I forgot to mention it for those watching, we will be announcing our next in-person Costa Rica retreat coming soon as well. And so we're kind of bundling a lot of these things together, where if you have already been in one of our programs or you will be registering for the next one, we of course would like to extend a discount to you to join us live. We want to meet as many of you in person as we can. So a lot to stay tuned for. So just be sure if anything interests you or you want to be kept up to date, get on that email list and we will be in communication. So thank you again, and so much love to all of you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. We got a big year ahead of us. We have some paradigms to shift, everybody. Let's do it. Let's do it.
Oh, Seven, I love your hair. I don't know if you can hear me, but your hair looks fantastic, Seven.
I was hiding because I was working on the landing page, so it's all ready to go. Looking forward to seeing you all there.
Bye-bye.
Ciao, everybody. Thank you.
Bye, everyone.